Millions of fish cover an entire river. Scientists can't explain this. My friends, throughout thousands of years of civilization, humanity has built massive cities, conquered the deepest oceans, and even ventured into outer space. Yet, right here on this very planet, there are still strange phenomena that leave scientists puzzled and the entire world locked in endless debate. There are rivers that suddenly become completely covered by millions of migrating fish packed so densely that they resemble a living wave surging through the water. There are gigantic icy whirlpools spinning endlessly in the frozen wilderness, creating scenes so breathtaking they look like gateways to another world. And perhaps most terrifying of all are violent volcanic eruptions unleashed in nature's fury, accompanied by massive bolts of lightning tearing across the night sky, creating apocalyptic scenes straight out of the end of the world. What's truly astonishing is that most of us have never witnessed these bizarre events with our own eyes in real life. They exist like rare mysteries that nature itself seems determined to hide from humanity. But today, those secrets are finally about to be revealed. In this video, Discovery Fact will take you on a journey to explore some of the most mysterious and one-of-a-kind phenomena on Earth. A place where the line between science and the unexplainable becomes thinner than ever before. So get ready, because the more you watch, the more you'll realize that this world still holds countless secrets far beyond anything we could ever imagine. Now then, what are we waiting for? Let's jump straight into our very first discovery. The largest sockeye salmon migration in 100 years. Around 15,000 people traveled to the Canadian province of British Columbia to witness one of nature's most mysterious phenomena, a massive migration of sockeye salmon believed to be the largest seen in the past century. An estimated 6 to 8 million sockeye salmon migrated from the ocean into the Adams River in the Shuswap region of British Columbia. According to experts, this year's salmon population was nearly twice as large as originally predicted and marked the biggest migration recorded since 1913. These salmon must endure an incredibly difficult journey stretching for more than 310 miles. Yet at the end of that exhausting journey, once they finally return home, the sockeye salmon die from exhaustion after laying their eggs. The young salmon born from those eggs will eventually make their way back out to the open ocean. Then about 3 years later, they too will begin the same journey home, just like their parents before them. Sockeye salmon navigate by smell. Each fish remembers the unique scent of the river where it was born. As they travel back from the ocean to their spawning grounds, they rely on this remarkable memory to find their way. Once they return to freshwater, the salmon stop eating and their bodies turn a bright red color. This mysterious and extraordinary migration of sockeye salmon has attracted huge numbers of locals and tourists to the Adams River. However, this year's migration became even more remarkable after breaking a record that had stood for an entire century. A foul-smelling black flood appeared in Arizona. On July 15, 2020, a strange black flow of water was discovered in a dry canal in the United States. The video showed a rushing stream made up of mud, soil, and dry tree branches. The entire flow appeared dark, smoky, and foul-smelling as it surged forward like a powerful wave. The footage was posted on Twitter by officials from Pima County in the state of Arizona. According to officials, the bizarre flow was actually a flood caused by heavy rain combined with wildfire damage. Flooding can happen anywhere at any time. Wildfires such as the Bighorn Fire leave the ground dry, barren, and unable to absorb water. Even a small amount of rainfall can trigger flash floods, often with very little warning. The Bighorn Fire in Arizona had burned more than 119,500 acres of forest since June 5, 2020. Although the wildfire was largely contained, flames were still burning near the base of the Santa Catalina Mountains. Scientists also agreed with officials from Pima County that wildfires make rainfall far more dangerous. Fires change the structure of soil by mineralizing organic matter and releasing nutrients, metals, and toxins that normally would not be washed away by water. This newly altered soil structure can no longer absorb water effectively. Once vegetation is destroyed, ash and loose soil wash into rivers, streams, and canals. This muddy runoff reduces dissolved oxygen levels in the water while increasing nutrient levels that allow cyanobacteria and harmful algae blooms to grow rapidly. As a result, oxygen levels continue to drop even further. The lack of oxygen eventually causes fish, crabs, and other aquatic animals to suffocate, leading to mass die-offs. A major example of this occurred during the unprecedented Australian wildfires of late 2019 and early 2020. Even if aquatic creatures survive initially, they may later starve because they can no longer see food in the murky water. Aquatic plants and algae also die due to the lack of sunlight needed for photosynthesis. Mud and debris from wildfires can also flow into reservoirs and threaten human drinking water supplies, making the sediment too thick for filtration systems to properly handle. When floodwaters carry large, solid debris, they contribute to severe soil erosion and create major risks for water treatment infrastructure. Fast-moving floodwaters caused by heavy rainfall are among the most dangerous consequences of wildfires. These floods are especially hazardous because they often occur with little to no warning. Floodwaters can strip away vegetation, clog drainage systems, destroy infrastructure, and put human lives at risk. 50 million red crabs cover the roads. More than 50 million red crabs make an incredible journey from the rainforest to the coastline on Christmas Island, located northwest of Western Australia. Locals and tourists frequently share stunning images of what is considered one of the largest animal migrations on Earth, as the crabs turn the entire island bright red. Red crabs crawl across roads, bridges, rocks, and along streams in order to reach their breeding grounds on time. They even appear in unusual places such as cliff faces and town centers. Dr. Tanya Detto said the island had not seen a migration this massive since 2005. He and his team spent a great deal of time setting up bridges and barriers to help the red crabs safely reach Flying Fish Cove. According to Detto, although experts on the island can predict the general route of the crab migration, the path still changes slightly every year. Some crabs become trapped while climbing across 3-story buildings or fall from limestone cliffs, but most of them survive. The migration season usually begins when the first heavy rains of the wet season arrive in October or November. Male crabs leave their burrows and head toward the beach, with female crabs following behind them. The exact timing and speed of the migration are determined by the phases of the moon. The crabs somehow know precisely when to leave their burrows so they can arrive at the beach at the perfect time for spawning. Each female crab releases around 100,000 eggs into the Indian Ocean over 5 to 6 consecutive nights during the migration period. About a month later, young red crabs return to shore and begin the long journey back into the island's tropical rainforest. However, most of the larvae are eaten by fish, stingrays, and whale sharks waiting in the surrounding waters. Animal rain. There have been bizarre rainstorms in which thousands of toads suddenly fall from the sky onto roads and streets below. Although storms involving other animals are far rarer than toad rain, similar events have still been reported in several countries around the world. To explain this strange phenomenon, most natural science researchers believe that powerful tornadoes or waterspouts may have swept up large numbers of toads and frogs into the air. After being carried for thousands of miles, the storms eventually weakened, rain began to fall, and the animals trapped inside the vortex dropped back down to the ground along with the rainfall. However, this explanation may only account for part of the mystery behind these bizarre storms. In reality, rain accompanied by falling animals remains one of nature's most puzzling phenomena, something humanity is still trying to fully understand and explain. Volcanic lightning. Lightning is one of nature's most breathtaking phenomena. It can heat the surrounding air to nearly 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, about 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Lightning does not occur only during thunderstorms, which are weather events involving storms, heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and strong winds. It is an atmospheric electrical discharge phenomenon. According to scientific estimates, lightning strikes occur around 100 times every second on Earth, and nearly 70% of them happen in tropical regions. There are several different types of lightning, including cloud-to-ground lightning and ground-to-cloud lightning, where electrical currents move between the Earth's surface and the clouds above. The most common type is cloud-to-cloud lightning, which occurs when electrical charges are exchanged between clouds without striking the ground. Other forms of lightning also exist, such as ribbon lightning, ball lightning, upper atmospheric lightning, positive lightning, rocket-triggered lightning, and dry lightning. Lightning can even occur during hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, dust storms, and snowstorms. Despite the vast amount of scientific knowledge about lightning, volcanic lightning remains one of the most difficult mysteries to explain. Scientists still do not fully understand why lightning appears during volcanic eruptions. One theory suggests that the enormous amount of ash and dust released at extremely high speeds during an eruption creates intense friction and electrical charges, ultimately generating massive bolts of lightning within the volcanic plume. The mystical Dragon Egg Beach. Located near a small fishing village on the eastern coast of New Zealand's Moeraki coastline, the Moeraki Boulders, often called the Dragon Egg Beach, is a unique natural wonder filled with countless enormous rocks that possess an almost impossibly perfect spherical shape. The Moeraki Boulders are completely natural formations and were not shaped or carved by humans in any way. Each boulder varies in size. Some are small enough to fit within the arms of an adult, while others measure more than 10 feet in diameter, stand nearly 6.5 feet tall, and weigh as much as 16 tons. Some of the rocks have smooth surfaces, while others appear rough and textured like turtle shells. A few are even cracked open, as though they had shattered into pieces. From a distance, they resemble the massive eggs of legendary dragons. Scientists believe these unusual stones were formed from Paleocene seabed mud that gradually hardened millions, or even tens of millions, of years ago. Some of the boulders were created from layers of marine sediment between 33 and 164 feet thick, accumulating over an average period of 4 to 5.5 million years. Local residents also tell fascinating legends claiming the stones are dragon eggs or even fossilized alien cocoons. Because of their mysterious and otherworldly appearance, the Moeraki Boulders attract thousands of visitors every year. Everyone hopes to witness this breathtaking natural wonder at least once in their lifetime. Most people are left completely astonished when they finally see these incredible creations of nature with their own eyes. Viewed from a distance or from above, the beach becomes even more spectacular. The giant stones truly look like dragon eggs resting together on the white sand. At sunset, pink and orange hues spread across the shoreline, reflecting off the wet surfaces of the rocks and creating a magical, shimmering effect. The waters around Kokohe Beach are also famous for their stunning color gradients. Just 33 to 66 feet from the shore, the ocean suddenly shifts from bright turquoise to deep blue. Along the coastline stand rows of decades-old trees that provide cool shade and help create an incredibly fresh and peaceful atmosphere. Hundreds of fish suddenly leap across the surface of a lake. People taking a walk through a park were left stunned after witnessing hundreds of fish suddenly jumping out of the water at Zhuanwu Lake in the city of Nanjing. The fish repeatedly thrashed and launched themselves into the air, seemingly struggling to breathe and gulp fresh oxygen. A spokesperson for the park said that fish had previously been seen jumping in small groups, but this was the first time the number had reached hundreds at once. Experts explained that oxygen levels in the lake had dropped during the rainy season following weeks of heavy rainfall across the region, leaving the fish short of oxygen. This time of year also coincides with the peak spawning season, when fish tend to seek areas with stronger water flow and higher oxygen levels. In recent days, similar incidents of fish leaping from the water have also been reported in other parts of China. Residents in Yunnan in southwestern China also witnessed schools of fish jumping from a river in a similar way. Ice brinicles. This strange icy vortex known as a brinicle has been recognized since the 1960s, but this was the first time one had been observed on the seafloor near Ross Island in Antarctica, where the water temperature was about 28.4 degrees Fahrenheit. A brinicle is a rare phenomenon that only forms in polar oceans where the sea surface is frozen. It is created by the downward flow of extremely cold, salt-saturated seawater. Heat from relatively warmer seawater moves through the freezing air above, causing new ice to form beneath the surface. As this dense, super cold, salty water sinks deeper into the ocean, it freezes the warmer seawater it comes into contact with, creating a tube-like column of ice. Anything that touches this icy structure can instantly freeze solid. Because of this, nearly all marine creatures that pass through the brinicle end up dying. Tsunami-like clouds rolling across the sky. Amy Hunter witnessed a scene that looked like a surreal painting when she looked up at the sky above Smith Mountain in the state of Virginia. Layer upon layer of clouds appeared to curl and crash through the sky like massive tsunami waves ready to strike. The cloud formation created a nearly perfect wave shape, making it look as though an entire ocean were suspended in the air. Hunter photographed the bizarre clouds and shared the images on a Facebook page dedicated to photos of Smith Mountain. Most people online commented that they had never seen anything like it before. The phenomenon is known as Kelvin-Helmholtz waves. These waves occur when velocity differences develop within a continuous fluid, or when two layers of fluid move at different speeds along their boundary. One common example of Kelvin-Helmholtz waves can be seen when wind blows across the surface of water. The wind creates relative motion between the layered fluids, water and air, causing instability that appears as waves forming on the water's surface. Similar wave patterns can occur in many different liquids and throughout Earth's atmosphere. The clouds Hunter observed formed when two layers of air with different densities moved at different speeds. As they met along a boundary layer, the difference in velocity created instability, producing the dramatic rolling wave pattern in the sky. These wave-like clouds were named after Lord Kelvin of Scotland, who, together with German physicist Hermann von Helmholtz, provided one of the most accurate explanations for the phenomenon. Kelvin-Helmholtz waves are also believed to have inspired Vincent van Gogh's famous painting The Starry Night. Katatumbo lightning. Lake Maracaibo is the largest saltwater lake in South America, located in the state of Zulia in northwestern Venezuela. The lake stretches about 61 miles long, 42 miles wide, reaches depths of nearly 197 feet, and covers a total area of approximately 5,100 square miles. For centuries, an extraordinary phenomenon has occurred near the mouth of the Katatumbo River where it flows into Lake Maracaibo. Every year, lightning strikes the area for around 160 nights, lasting up to 10 hours a day and reaching as many as 280 lightning strikes per hour, adding up to roughly 1.2 million lightning bolts annually. The lightning here often appears in vivid, spectacular colors. What makes the phenomenon even more mysterious is that it occurs in only one specific location. Local people call it the River of Fire in the Sky, or the river that catches fire from heaven. This phenomenon is also a source of great pride for the local people because it played an important role in the country's history and fight for independence. In 1595, the constant lightning storms near the river mouth reportedly exposed and helped prevent an attack by English warships led by Francis Drake as they attempted to enter the lake region. Later, on July 24, 1823, the flashes of lightning illuminated the ships of Admiral José Prudencio Padilla during a battle against the Spanish fleet, contributing to a victory that forced Spain to recognize the independence of Venezuela. Because of this, many Venezuelans see the lightning at the mouth of the Katatumbo River as a symbol of national strength. It not only served as a natural beacon for sailors, but also became associated with the country's struggle for freedom. Venezuelans have written countless poems praising the phenomenon, and the image of lightning even appears on regional symbols and echoes through local patriotic traditions. Blue tides. There are many species of plankton around the world capable of producing bioluminescence. One of the most common light-producing organisms found in the oceans is a type of algae known as dinoflagellates, the same microorganisms responsible for the phenomenon known as red tide. Dinoflagellates are single-celled organisms. These microscopic algae float near the ocean's surface and drift along with water currents. They generate electrical impulses around proton particles, preventing water from entering the microorganisms. Those electrical impulses then create voltage-sensitive proton channels, triggering a chain of chemical reactions involving luciferase proteins, the substances responsible for producing the algae's glowing neon blue light. During a blue tide event at Leucadia Beach in September 2011, scientists also discovered that some species of dinoflagellates contained dangerous toxins harmful to human health, fish populations, and many other marine organisms. In addition, these algae use their glowing bioluminescence as a powerful defense mechanism to protect themselves from threats posed by other sea creatures. Rare ice disks cover an entire river. Forest Ranger Peter McKinney discovered enormous ice disks, each about the size of a pizza, covering the surface of a river flowing through the Dunurn Hill area in Nairnshire. McKinney counted around 30 floating ice disks drifting along a tributary of the River Findhorn. These ice disks are huge, as about the size of large pizzas. This phenomenon is extremely rare in nature. I've worked in this region for 35 years, and this is the first time I've ever seen them, he said. Ice disk phenomena are commonly found in the Arctic, Scandinavia, and northern Canada, but they are very rarely seen elsewhere. According to physicists at University of Liège in Belgium, the phenomenon occurs when water temperatures rise and the water becomes denser. As the ice around the edges begins to melt, the water starts spinning and forms a vertical vortex, similar to the process that creates a whirlpool. The rotating ice then collides with surrounding ice, gradually shaping itself into a nearly perfect circle. Most ice disks typically measure between 8 inches and 6.5 feet in diameter. Giant ice disks form only under ideal natural conditions. In January 2019, a massive ice disk measuring about 295 feet wide spun counterclockwise on the surface of the Presumpscot River in the northeastern United States, attracting enormous attention across social media. Snow rolling into giant tubes. Snow rollers are an extremely rare natural phenomenon that only occurs when temperature, humidity, wind speed, terrain, and snow conditions combine in perfect balance. These unusual snow formations develop on open, flat land or on gently sloping terrain covered by a smooth layer of ice or hardened snow. Fresh snow then falls or accumulates on the surface. Strong gusts of wind begin lifting sections of the snow and slowly roll them forward piece by piece. As the moist snow sticks to the icy surface, the newly formed snow roll continues sliding and curling into a hollow tube-like shape. The wind keeps pushing the snow rollers, causing them to grow thicker and larger over time. The movement finally stops when the snow roller becomes too heavy for the wind to move or when it collides with an obstacle. Because snow rollers can form only under very specific weather and environmental conditions, it is easy to understand why they are so rarely seen. Not only are they uncommon, but they are also extremely fragile. If temperatures rise or fall too much, the delicate snow structures quickly collapse and break apart. UFO clouds. On the morning of November 24th, images of a gigantic cloud hovering directly above Ba Den Mountain in Tay Ninh, Vietnam spread rapidly across social media, leaving many people fascinated by the strange weather phenomenon. In reality, meteorologists refer to these formations as lenticular clouds. They form when strong, moist winds move across rough terrain. This is a rare weather phenomenon that typically appears during the winter season. Lenticular clouds can develop when wind blows perpendicular to a mountain range, hill, or even a tall building. As the moist and dry air masses rise and cool, the surrounding air expands and reaches a temperature where condensation forms. At that point, the air can no longer hold as much moisture, leading to the creation of a cloud that resembles a giant UFO in the sky. One of the most unusual features of lenticular clouds is that they appear almost completely motionless and are difficult for surrounding winds to move. These clouds can also pose a serious threat to aviation safety. The up and down movement of moist and dry air layers may create intense turbulence. Because of this, pilots try to avoid areas where lenticular clouds appear, since their presence can indicate potentially severe air disturbances. Similar weather phenomena have been observed around the world. In fact, some reported UFO sightings in the past were later linked to lenticular clouds, which can form in many different regions across the globe. And lenticular clouds are not the only weather phenomena mistaken for UFOs. Around the world, people have also confused other unusual atmospheric events with alien spacecraft, including hole punch clouds, which form when miniature snowstorms develop and freeze within thin cloud layers high in the sky. As you can see, nature is truly filled with endless mysteries and unexplained phenomena. Some of these strange events are fascinating to witness, while others are both terrifying and difficult to understand. So, what do you think about these incredible natural phenomena? And do you believe they are truly real? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to give Discovery Fact a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future discoveries and fascinating explorations. For now, goodbye, and we'll see you again in the next video.